This is New Amsterdam Season 5, Episode 3, discussion/review, titled Big Day. And right off the rip, nope. Let's talk about it.
Live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings, I'm a big fight.
I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to joke about it. I'm not going to cut around the bush. I'm not going to browbeat it. I'm not going to make a pun because there's nothing to joke about this episode. This episode freaking sucked. There was no reason to even air this garbage on TV. I don't normally say that about a show because I can sit back and watch anything and just be, objective in my own opinion about it anyway. But this was no reason for them to put this on TV, man. This was garbage in my opinion. I'm just being real. And the fact that they aired it and like it happened and technically they ended up getting away with it upsets me to my core. Because if you saw my 911 review, when it comes to kids, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I can't with this episode. So I'm not even going to talk about all of that other stuff. I'm going to talk about the other parts that I enjoyed and that I liked about the episode, and the rest of it can go straight down the trash. So let's talk about Max and Wilder yet again. Max and Wilder yet again. Oh my gosh. I get that this is the final season, and like I said in the last review, I know that they're trying to push them together. You can see it, but it's so evident. They're not hiding it anymore. They're making it so evident. Max is out here learning sign language just so he can actually communicate with Wilder just a little bit more. They have their own jokes, and they're out here telling stuff. Like, I don't know why I'm moving my fingers like this. I really don't. But anyway, they're out here telling jokes with each other. They're going back and forth, and even with the whole event that's happening this episode, we see that they ended up working on their particular case together. They went to Bermuda. They traveled together this episode. They were trying to save their patient together this episode. They really are trying to force this Wilder and Max thing on us, man. Like I said, I'm not mad about the overall situation of it because, like I said, I love me some Dr. Wilder. But I don't like anything when it comes out of the blue. Like when they're trying to just throw it at me to try to appease someone on the side, to try to make it seem like he has a relationship or something like that. Because he can still be reeling off of the stuff that happened with him and Sharp and just move on. Like, I know that they had this whole falling out. It's a whole ordeal with Freema and, NBC and New Amsterdam. So it's a whole ordeal. So I get them just writing her off and then just trying to throw him straight into another relationship. But it's not even, they didn't even go about it in a good way. And one thing I can, think of right off the top of my head, a particular situation is about them making Bloom gay. Now, I'm not saying that she wasn't from the first episode, but I sure didn't see any evidence towards that. And then they just made all of this stuff with Layla and her just happen out of the blue. I can't get behind it. It's out of the blue. It's forced. It's fake. It's not even real. I'm getting sidetracked. But anyway, we see that them spending the entire episode together and then dealing with this whole overall situation about what was happening this episode. We see that really kind of made everybody kind of reevaluate themselves and reevaluate everything that's going on in their personal life. And we see that it's very evident with Bloom and her sister because we see that Bloom still hasn't told her sister that she's sober and she's staying there because she feels guilty excuse me, about leaving her with their mother, and now her sister's, addicted to pills and vodka and drinking and sex, drugs, and rock and roll and all the high other stuff that makes you high and feel like woozy. So she feels like it's her fault, and she feels like it's her job to save her sister. And I have no qualms with that, but you're putting yourself in a very weird predicament, Broom, in a very weird predicament, Bloom, because Walsh even mentioned that, you have got to be stupid. Like, you're sober. Why are you living with your drug addicted, I don't want to say junkie, but possibly junkie sister? Why are you living with her? You need to tell her that you're sober, and she hasn't. Like we see at the end of the episode, after dealing with the mess that was this episode, we see that Bloom trying to talk to her sister, and she just didn't quite get a chance to give it out because her sister gave her something that she was kind of really hoping that they could do, which was bond. And she was like, well, I love you. And then her sister brought out the vodka. And they never show Bloom drinking it, but like, what is she gonna do? Like, she was like, well, no, I had a rough night. Maybe she'll pass on it or just down it, and then that goes to sobriety. So we don't know, but they cut it before we can actually see her doing anything. We see this episode also mess with Iggy, because Iggy is really, but he's handling it just a little bit better than everybody else. Everybody else is just super upset. Like, this is really bugging everybody, and it was bugging me to my core. And Iggy, like, it upset Iggy as well, but he's one, him being a psychiatrist, it feels, I don't want to say more, but he understands how they could get away with it, because legally there's nothing that they can do. And, that just, it messed with everybody else. But Iggy was, I don't want to say he was content with it, but like, he just understood it a little bit more. But you could definitely tell it bothered him, because once he got home, before he could even go home, he went to, he's staying in an apartment or something, right? But anyway, before he done that, he went to where his kids were, and he just had to see his kids tonight. He just had to see them because of this weird situation that was going on with this stupid episode, NBC. And oh my gosh, it's bugging me. It's really, really bugging me. But we also have Floyd this episode that, he's dealing with his father, and he's trying to tell his parent, well, his mother and his sister, that, well, there's something going on with Dad. He might be bipolar. And his mama just, I ain't with that, Floyd. Just stop it. And I gotta kind of agree with her, because after Floyd told him that, he was bipolar and there could be something wrong with him, and it's not his fault, the reason he done all this stuff, he saw that as an opportunity to use that as an excuse to have everybody to, kind of just take back every mean thing they said about him, instead of actually trying to seek treatment or understand what's going on with it. He just saw that as a means to an end to use as an excuse. But Floyd's mama tried to tell him. She tried to tell him, but he just wouldn't listen. He keeps trying to reach out to this guy, and it's best to just let this go, man. I mean, I know you want a connection with your father, but this guy ain't it. And then we see Max, Max is still reeling after the whole affair. Him and Wilder had this whole connection, but him and Wilder both are just dumbstruck, because they went to find this lady with the golden blood, and she even ran them off when they tried to get her to save their patient. But that's because they thought their patient was a decent person. And oh my gosh, man, it's bugging me so much. And she decided to help him anyway, because, she just thought that was the right thing to do. And we see at the end of the episode, they ended up saving them, but Max had to tell the lady, when she was donating blood for, well, you're giving your blood to this weird whole thing that's going on. I thought that little girl, no, I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Nope, I don't want to talk about it. But we see at the end of the episode, Max is chilling with Luna, and he's sleeping on the floor right beside her bed, which was a wonderful way to end the episode after dealing with all of that horrendous stuff that happened throughout the entire episode. And like I said, I'm not talking about it because it just upsets me. But I don't want... I will say this. I'm not saying that they deserve to be injured or hurt or anything like that, but I don't blame that little girl's brother. Just putting that out there. This was incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button if you can't smash any more. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe. And just, oh my God.